was after we got engaged. I had to take like 3 months off of work because my parents were both sick with cancer and it was getting worse. And so as we're like kind of going through that, and then they had both, eventually passed that year, we were kind of like looking at each other, and I was like, okay. He's like, well, what do you want to do now? And I only went into corporate America to have a secure kind of income for my family. I always wanted to make sure that I had enough to take care of them, and so on and so forth. All along the way, still kind of doing real estate deals with my friend Gabriella. And I was like, I don't really have the pressure anymore. I'm like, you can take care of yourself. I can certainly take care of myself. I was like, I think I'm going to go back into real estate with Gabriella full time. And then that kind of started the conversation. And it was like, well, why would you work with her and not me? I'm like, well, because you're my fiance and we probably have different styles and, all those kind of things. And he's very convincing when he wants something. I mean,
I would imagine that. I would imagine that doesn't shock me.
yeah. And, a lot of the things that I thought would happen did happen. Conflict, people assuming that I only got into real estate because of Josh, not even thinking that I did it before. Just, all the things that I didn't want for my life. Like I didn't want that. I'm like, I've spent a lot of years hustling and working, and I just didn't want people to think, oh, this was handed to me. But, there's bigger problems in the world. So we went through like the growing pains of it. We started working together, doing deals, this and that. And then we just learned, okay, we'll keep it under the same umbrella, but we'll have like separate offices, separate teams. And for the most part, the deals I do, um, I'll advise them about it. Like I'll tell them like what's going on, but we're not kind of negotiating together.
That's good.
Yeah.
What about like when you said you were on the show, like right away, like you got, listen, everyone gets hate. You could fly in on a unicorn with rainbows. That's my famous saying, and you'll still get hate. But
Right.
like, what was the hate? Like, oh, Josh has a lot of money. You're using Josh for money, for fame. I mean, I'm just stating the obvious. I assume that's what it was, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of like who I wasn't, which I can take. You're ugly, you have a giant forehead, your hair's horrible, you're fat, you're not that cute, whatever it is. That's easy. But the whole I was using him for his money, I was a gold digger, all of this, and the whole time I'm thinking, wait a minute, if I was a gold, he pursued me heavily. I said no so many times because of his situation. I'm like, he's living in my house, but nobody knew that. So I'm like, where is the gold digging? And last time I checked, the gold digger didn't work or whatever it was. So it was just hard, like, because my family would see it, my friends would see it, and then they would always comment on it. Oh, did you see what these people are saying or whatever? And I'm like, I was like, honey, if I wanted to be a gold digger, I had those chances in my early 20s. Okay, I could have really married, like,
Totally.
So, yeah. So that was unfortunate, but it came with the territory.
And then, like, did you just learn to not let that stuff bother you?
I think eventually people started to do their own research and saw that I had a career before him, that I was successful in my own right before him, and those kind of things. You still see it every once in a while, but that's just somebody who's either a robot, those internet bots or whatever, or it's someone who's just angry at themselves and they're just trying to perpetuate hate. I don't pay too much attention to it anymore. I'll see it every once in a while. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, get more creative.
You just learned to deal with it.
Yeah.